What's going on, YouTubers? Or am I a YouTuber? And you guys are the YouTubies and YouTubettes? Anyways, hey, welcome back. RC Crawler Talk. Today is the last time you're going to see the Caprado. This was my first true, to me at the time, comp crawler build for Class 2. You don't know what it's about. Well, go back and check out some of the older videos. I think I got a full playlist of the build setup on this. This guy has served its purpose. Man, it's been a couple years. I can't believe it's already been a couple years for it. So, but we're going to move on to bigger and better things. So, my YouTube, I checked my YouTube account, and payments aren't where they need to be to buy and build a whole new truck. So I'm going to dismantle and reuse and repurpose a lot of the stuff on this. Electronics, wheels, tires, axles, you know, we'll see what all we take off of it. And underneath it is the HOLMES Hobby SHERPA Sport chassis. It's the aluminum version. I believe it's from Team Garage Hack. You can see I got my full interior and full interior cage. It's been a good truck. Lots of learning. If you're not learning, you're not moving, you're not progressing forward in everything, all things. So, learned a lot from this truck. It's kind of bittersweet. Yeah, kind of, sort of. I think my driving ability, so I say, has overrun the ability of the vehicle. She still works good. I think it could be better. Today's day and age of the great builders and great drivers in our area has inspired me to be better. And that's kind of what this hobby is about, just being better. You know, you get that motivation from friends and people you associate with, especially in this hobby. And you push each other to drive better, to build better, to be better people. And this is no exception. So it's going to be time to tear this guy down. What am I going to replace it with, you ask? We're going to go a Toyzuki carbon fiber V2.5. Chassis kit is the exact same as a V2 Toyzuki, with the exception of the Delrin transfer case. This guy right here will give you 44% overdrive to the front axles. Now, flat rail chassis carbon. They're no stranger to the market. If you're new to the RC crawl world, you know that there are about 1,001 different options for flat rail carbon chassis. Toyzuki, if you they've been around a long time. They're OG chassis. They may have been or may be the first flat rail design. I could be mistaken about that, but I did go on rccrawler.com. It's a website, forum-based website with that, you know, pre-social media. That was the go-to place for all things RC crawlers. And I just did a quick search for Toyzuki, and the oldest post I could find was 2014. So they may have been around longer than that. They may not have. I'm not sure. But the owner of the company, he's a local guy. You know, he's Eastern Washington, but really good dude. I've always wanted to build one of his chassis, and I just happened to find a good deal on a local crawler guy here. He basically, what you do is you buy the V2.5 kit. You buy a Axial SCX 10.2 builder's kit. And then you use all the builder kit stuff, well, a lot of it, axles for this build. And you can see it's also got some black DRAVTECH shocks now from Deluxe. And it was a good deal. So I picked it up. I've always really wanted to build one. It's always been just out of my scope and out of my sight. You know, you always got to try something different. You don't want to be the same guy, right? Well, around here, a lot of dudes run Toyzuki, or at least they used to. I'd be really interested to find out how many scale nationals places that a Toyzuki chassis has earned over the years. It's probably going to be a lot more than you really think, just based off of how long they've been around. But you can see this thing is like brand new, no scratches, never run. But the owner of the Toyzuki company, I've met him in person. He's a really good dude. I've comped with him. He's helped at our comps. He's helped at RC Palooza. Great guy, man. He has no qualms about, you know, answering questions, giving advice, helping you to drive better, helping you to be better, helping you to just enjoy this hobby. And he's really guys like that are really, to me, kind of why I got really into this and stayed in this so long, is the friendliness, the kindness, the no attitude. Sarcastic, but you know what? I dig that. I'm a sarcastic person myself. People can take it the wrong way, but it is what it is. You can't make everybody happy nowadays. But Mr. Ben Morin, thank you for a great product, and I want to see what I can do with this thing. Definitely going to go check out the Toyzuki fan page for tips and tricks on how to build this thing to make it work really good. So, yeah, I'm kind of getting excited, and I really want to just rip and tear the Caprado apart and start robbing all the parts. The axles and whatnot, they're going to be going onto the new C3 build, which will be a brazen chassis. So I'll be reusing those. I'm going to end up getting a different housing for that one. Anyways, this is about the Class 2, not the Class 3 yet. So what we're going to do, I'm going to rip and tear this thing apart. And I think I'm going to eventually I'm going to make the chassis into like maybe like a super, well, as light as I can get it, type of LCG or cheater type rig. I just want something super capable to pull them crazy lines. And I also want comp trucks. And I also want trail trucks. I also want bouncers and monster trucks and all things RC, as we all do, right? So I don't work very well with the camera on me, so I'm just going to shut it off. I'm going to rip and tear and take all the goodies off of this chassis and get it down to bare bones. And I want to start installing onto that. So, see you in a few. And just like that, she's down to chassis. Put that up on the shelf, use it for later. Mock up C3, new C2, new C2, new C2. Not sure what I'm doing with those yet. New C2. They always come apart way quicker. Literally less than 10 minutes. And blows it apart. You take months putting together, a couple minutes to blow it apart. Alright, so I forgot to weigh it before I took it apart. So I just kind of piled everything up there, minus the screws and bolts. But I got all the components in there, interior, electronics, back, just kind of stacked. So, but the overall total weight I'm looking at was, where did it go? Oh. Was it 32? Oh, now we're back at 0. Silly. It was 32.19, so not worried about balance, front, back, left, and right. I just want a total weight for comparison. All right, so I got the other rig torn apart. Just a quick blip. The weight that you saw, 3,200 grams, that's about 7 pounds. So it's about 7 pounds of my last C2. I just did that for comparison to see if I can't get this thing a little bit lighter. So after doing some mock-up, got some decisions to make. You know, right now I got the AR44, the center diffs, the SCX 10.2s. Kind of played around with it a little bit. Let's see, flip it over. Trying to get it as low as possible. And it's pretty low right now. That motor mount's awfully close to that front drive line. But I think we can make it work. Originally I was gonna, you know, I got a set of these Phoenix portal axles, and with Vanquish aluminum knuckles and aluminum housing. I kind of wanted to stick those on here, but man, there's gonna be quite a bit of modification to do that. You know, I'd have to mirror the motor mount to get the motor on the passenger side, mirror the skid, and then, you know, if I mirror this over, there's no room for the top link. Some guys have put the link on the outside of the rail on a V3. I don't know if there's really enough room on this V2 chassis. So I think I'm going to stick with the straight axle. Another option I'm looking at is SSD makes a, you know, they make the Diamond 44s, steel tubes, center diff. That's what I run in a couple other trucks. Great axles, heavy, smooth. This has got all kinds of, you know, rock grabbing sharp edges. The Diamond's all nice and smooth. But they make a offset to the passenger side. Well, you can make it on the passenger side, but they make an offset tubes and axle shafts. I might be able to get an offset and put the diff on the passenger side, just like a square body Chevy. But it would allow me to probably drop that motor and plate down a little bit more. It's like a, you know, $75 gamble between the tubes and the axle shafts. You might be able to modify the axle shafts from like an AR60 or something. I'd have to do some measuring bearing wise and see if that'd work, you know, cut them and grind flats in it and stuff. But I got some decisions to make, but I'm really leaning towards the passenger side offset diff of the Trail King from SSD. So, but there are some other things I really want to do to it. So originally, this motor plate, you can see it comes in through here. Originally, this bolt hole is up here. So I was able to drop the motor down and get that weight a little bit lower. I might run into clearances on, you know, the drive line and this other lower link, but we'll deal with that. But if I do the offset, this could push the drive line over. So that would work. I could get this down a little bit. One of the things I'm thinking about doing, I have quite a bit of room. If you can see that in there, but this little notch to clear that guy. You can almost move this motor plate forward. Get that front weight bias a little bit better. So I'm probably going to end up doing that. The other thing I'm really looking at is where the frame horns end. A lot of guys will just take and you know, nip off this outer hole, cut this back and drill a hole in the chassis and tap that for clearance on your tires, because right now it kind of goes right into it. But if I move the skid and transmission forward, it would shove this axle forward, and I probably could get, you know, you're looking at the holes for the third link. There's a lot of stuff to consider when you're doing stuff like this. You know, panhard location, that's going to be a little issue if I move this axle forward. And the reason I want to move that forward is front approach angle. So I want to get, you know, for a class 2, you can bring your bumper and your front of your body back to the leading edge. That's as far forward as the axle go or far back as the body can go. Right now, it'd be near vertical, but I'd like to have these tires actually sticking in front of the body. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. Again, more decisions that got to be made. Got to take some more measurements. Got to do some more looking. Do some more planning. I'm sure someone's done it before, so this isn't nothing new. But I've never been a bolt and go kind of guy. I've always liked to try to squeeze the most out of everything that I can. And it's, you know, hopefully it'll work out. If not, we'll go back to this way. I mean, it's just a couple holes. If it doesn't work out, you call them lightning holes. You're just lightening up the rig. So, as you can see, the body, yep, I'm going to use a Clod body. So I've got this line that I marked up in here. And that's roughly 3/4 of an inch up from the top of the tire. And the reason I went 3/4 of an inch is because the underside of the hood, I actually want resting on top of this guy. So I would have to cut that much out. There's about 3/4 of an inch between the top of that chassis and the underside of the hood. But even if I did that, really the farthest back that I could put this body is this front line right here for the dual servo mount. I'd like to get that thing, at least the axle, farther forward than that. So by moving this whole skid and the links forward, even if it's just 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, moving that forward, it would move all the links forward. The only issue would be looking at the panhard. So I got to do some measuring on that, make some decisions on that, but I'm really leaning towards doing it. It's just a couple holes, and then we'll end up lopping the back off wherever and put different bracing or something in there. So, but I think there's room for customizing, and there's a little bit of room for maybe making it a little bit better. I know this is kind of a tried and true setup, so that's what I keep going back and forth on. But until I can make up my mind, you guys will have to come back and watch the next episode. Because this guy, I'm going to get going on this. Maybe I'll order some parts. And, yeah, between this and the C3, the brazen high-low Capra axle, I'm going to start assembling and mocking that up. I'm waiting for more parts for that to come in. That one's going to be a pretty wild build. I can't wait. So anyways, that's it for this episode. Come on back next time. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. And we'll see if I can't get this thing on the rocks here sooner than later. Hopefully quicker than the C1. All right, hey, thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.